Lillian. Well, thanks everybody. I think we'll get started. I hope a few more people will join. Before
Diane, are we all going to mute?
I,
We should all mute.
good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's have everyone mute for now, except me. Tonight's program will be recorded so that because there is a conflicting meeting, a climate planning meeting in half an hour, although there's another the same meeting on Saturday, so next Saturday. But I'm going to start recording right now. No, wait. It says, do you want to stop recording? Because I did click when I set up the meeting that I wanted to record it, so I guess it's already doing that. Okay, thank you.
You'll be able to edit it.
Okay, thank you. Also before I introduce our presenter, just want to say that in addition to all you Zero Waste members who are on, Caitlin Newman is the recycling coordinator for Kitsap County is on, and she brought their new outreach education coordinator, Christina Duggar. I'm sorry, there waving. Okay, and all right, so tonight our special guest is Heather Church, who is the owner of Bainbridge Disposal. She will make a presentation, which she's got ready to go now. And she'll do the whole presentation. If you have some questions during it, you can type those into the chat. And then when she's done, you can ask those questions, or I can read off the questions. And then if there's time, we can also do verbal questions. We hope to get through with that by 6 o'clock because we haven't really had a general zero waste meeting in a while. So we've got some business to take care of there. So we'll try to maybe start that around 6 o'clock. So Heather Church. All right. Since Zero Waste started in 2010, we've always enjoyed a great relationship with you and your company. Dave Stanley, who was their general manager for over 30 years, Heather?
40.
Oh my gosh, 40 years. He just recently retired. And he was the person that we'd worked with the most. And Dave bent over backwards to help us, whether it was like saving blue bins for us that we used at Rotary, or agreeing to pile up campaign signs one year for a special drop-off he made at our MRF, or accommodating a last-minute change in the number of toters we might need at an event where we were doing compost recycling and landfill. So Dave was always friendly and reliable, and the office personnel, Tiffany, Kelly, the ones I've talked to, I've always been helpful too. And Heather is open to any suggestions we might have, such as this past summer, doing an audit of the downtown recycling big bellies so that we could show that with new signage, we reduced the contamination enough that Bainbridge Disposal could once again recycle the recyclables instead of having to trash them because they were so contaminated. And I also want to give thanks to Bainbridge Disposal for being our leading trash and show sponsor for the past 4 years, for offering free disposal of beach trash at our annual Bainbridge Island Beach Cleanup Day, for giving complimentary discard services at certain community events such as the 4th of July. I mean, they've done that forever, and Harvest Fair and National Night Out, and so many other things. So Heather, thank you so much for being, just a great part of our community, and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. It's been a great working relationship with you as well. I always love these ideas that come up and special pickups, or you need something, I'm always there. So I'm receptive to helping. Even during the pandemic, with your bags, walking the road, doing all the cleanup along the side of the roads was so helpful for anyone that participated in that. So yes, it's been a great relationship with Zero Waste. So here we go. On to the show. So can you see it now? Here we go again. Share screen. I'm gonna share my screen. And let's see here. There, can you see it? No? Okay, sorry. It's open. Got it? Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the first slide. Bainbridge Disposals. I'm going to go into a little bit of history, and at the end we can go over some questions. Like Dave used to do this. This is my first of giving out the details of Bainbridge Disposal, and Diane's the master. She knows it all, but I will start from here. Bainbridge Disposal started in 1966 on Bainbridge Island. My dad started the business with 1 employee and 1 truck at that time. It's a local family business with community interests. We strive to provide a local service that supports solid waste and recycling needs for our community. We currently have 40 employees. It's a big jump from 1. Our service area includes Bainbridge Island, Paulsbo, Suquamish, and the Port Gamble Slalom Tribe. Solid waste. We service approximately 20,000 residential customers on Bainbridge Island and 1,400 commercial accounts as well. And in 2019, we had approximately 8,151 tons of solid waste was collected from residential customers only. That does not include the transfer station or our commercial accounts. The garbage is hauled to the garbage hauled from Bainbridge Island is hauled to Olympic View Transfer Station in Gorst, and from there it is sent to Columbia Ridge Landfill in Arlington. Does anyone have any questions so far? I think this is going to go fairly fast. It's just talking garbage. The transfer station, which is kind of the core of our business these days. It was always the second part of the business, but it seems to be our hub of where everything happens these days. It's an 8-acre site that has been operated as a drop box transfer station since 1972. The landfill is located, the original landfill is located in the lower field below the transfer station, and that was operated between 1942 and 1972. Well, in 1992, the Department of Ecology removed 475 tons of waste and approximately 93 tons of contaminated soil from the original site. And that is the property lower. That does not include that the upper property where the transfer station was not part of that site. It was there was no garbage on the upper side. It was just the lower part where you see that nice green field. And you probably all know what's collected at the transfer station: scrap metal, wood waste, yard waste, oil, batteries, electronics, white goods, sorted cardboard, commingled recycle, needles, I don't see light bulbs on there, and solid waste. We're always open. We had books at one time. We're always open to different items at that facility as long as the site, there's space available. We're limited in space right now. But this is one area where we are open to, options that our community might bring forward. We had books at one time that kind of fell through. They stopped collecting them. So this is a place where I would find open to great ideas. The recycling. Bainbridge Disposal began the first curbside recycling in Kitsap County in 1992. Prior to the curbside, the island had a drop-off station. I saw Mrs. Spur on here, my old music teacher, and she might have more information on the on some of the drop-off sites that originated on Bainbridge Island. It was maybe a little before my time. But the original system was a 3-bin system when we started curbside recycling. There was 3 containers. It was a lovely system. And I think it's how we all learned how to recycle. It was put it out the curb and you were guilty if you were caught contaminating it. It was really easy to keep clean and separate, and it was efficient. It was just hard for our drivers to throw all those bins every day, 10 feet above their head. Then the single stream recycling, I believe, was introduced in 2006. I'm not quite sure on the exact date, but right now we have 64 and 96 gallon containers, and they're durable. You can put a lot in there. It has its pros and cons, but it's convenient for the customers. It's an automated system, and it seems to be working well on the collection side of it. But some of the cons are what goes in there is out of sight, out of mind, and there is room for contamination. And the commingle recycle material is hauled to JMK in Tacoma, where they process it and move it on to the next step. Your favorite. Everyone's seen this. So these are the items. And these are this was from our report for the materials collected for recycling in 2019. They're just numbers, but it's a good indication. I think they're good numbers. Bainbridge Island has some strong tonnage that is leaving cardboard, plastics, metals. So you can see where we sit. I know Diane likes this food waste down there, and there's 648 tons of it did leave the island. So that's happy to see. And then right here, yard waste. Okay. Yard waste is curbside service, and we have yard waste up at the transfer station as well. The curbside service is every other week, and it's a 96-gallon bin. And it's hauled to North Mason Fibers in Belfair. And I did call Bob, who has North Mason Fibers, and asked a couple of your questions, why we couldn't add more to the yard waste. And Bob has a very high quality organic material that, and he limits the items collected to green waste and clippings. His product is certified. They are the only permitted facility in the Kitsap Peninsula to produce truly organic compost approved by the Washington State Department of Agriculture. And he likes it clean, and he wants to resell a clean product. The organic listing guarantees that their material is free from undesirable chemicals and foreign debris. In 2019, Bainbridge Disposal collected approximately 2,278 tons of yard waste from just the curbside. That is not what was collected up at the transfer station. So we have quite a few curbside recycled customers. Green waste is one of our largest tonnages aside from garbage, solid waste. Thought I better throw this in there. I don't know how new or old this one is, but oops. Some of these are hard to see, but I know, Diane, you are very interested in more food waste, and I agree. If we can find a way and we can push Bob to a separate market or Olympic Organics, I'm exploring that option to allow for more food waste. And I want to leave it up to you the rest of the time. That was really quick and speedy, but I know you're going to have questions, what we can take, and I love to hear what you want, because I feel Bainbridge Disposal is a business where I want it to be what our customers want, our community needs, and be receptive to, I call it a boutique garbage service. We're not waste management, and we are open to hearing what we can do and what we could bring for people here on Bainbridge Island. And we also service Paulsbo. So I'm going to leave it up to you for some suggestions and questions. If anybody has any questions. Oh, I can't hear you. I'm having a hard time hearing.
Can we go back to your face? I mean,
Oh,
we
yes.
can see you
Yep,
answering
I'm sorry.
questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see me now? I have to put this down. I see what I have to do. Okay, I'm gonna have to close out of this. Okay, sorry. Is there a way to do it half and half? Or is it just all the slides?
You can stop the screen share and that will go away.
Okay.
And then if you want to highlight yourself and then highlight whoever's speaking, then it's two of you on a screen. But then it's really up to us to choose how we want to see you.
Okay, great. I see one question that's someone does put food, they do put food waste in the yard waste, and minimal amounts is fine. And I mean, the yard waste, the food's fine. It's just when you start adding Dan, what were you talking, the cups or the paper products is really what Bob's worried about. Some of the ones that have the debris or getting mixed, like the compostable forks and spoons. I think he's having a problem with.
Yeah, I know that's anything that's solidly compostable plastic is undesired.
Yes.
It's more like the things that maybe don't even have a compostable plastic lining. Like some of those food trays that vendors serve food in, they're just like clay lined. And so can you take like paper goods like that or something that's just molded fiber? Like you take, like an egg carton, but like a molded fiber clamshell or something like that.
Right. He likes his green product. I saw another question.
Allison?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So often policies are made because people push them and break them. So if I don't put in compostable utensils in my yard waste bin, I would like to put in compostable coffee cups along the lines of what Diane was just saying. I will not put in compostable utensils ever. I get it. But compostable paper makes sense to me. And to give a blanket policy on only yard waste in the yard waste bin doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I know one thing is that anything like with a compostable plastic lining, like a PLA lining, the National Organics Program has not certified that as it's not allowed if you're trying to organically certify your compost. So I can see why he would object to anything with PLA in it. But if you're just saying like paper, like shredded paper, is that what you mean by compostable paper?
No, a coffee cup that says certified compostable paper on it.
Oh, okay.
I think the concern is once you open it to a few items that the general public that is throwing items in there I understand that zero waste, you guys have it down, but once you open those avenues, not everyone treats it the same. A cup becomes a cup. And that's his concern.
Can I ask a question, Heather?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I live at Harbor Square, and we've got, that's on Winslow Way, and we have 3 giant green bins in our trash room that are for compostable items. They are all picked up by Bainbridge Disposal, and they're taken to North Mason Fibers. Now, do you allow this? Because even though we're 180 families, the amount we put in those bins is deemed by the guy at in Belfair to be minimal, and so he can handle that, or what?
The commercial food waste, goes out to Olympic Organics. If it's a commercial account and it's not the residential.
This is Harbor Square, so it's not commercial. It's a condo complex.
Multifamily. It's a
Yeah.
multifamily.
Right. There are 180 units, so it's a huge neighborhood, if you want to call it that. And our trash room has recycling, garbage, and compost. And so lots and lots of us put our food waste and shredded paper there. I'm on the Green Committee at Harbor Square, and so we put out a newsletter every few months. And one of the things we did most recently was to warn people that there are no takeout containers, from what I understand, that are compostable. So we try to help Bainbridge Disposal by keeping contaminants out. But my question is that Bainbridge Disposal is picking this up every 2 weeks. And so it must be that Bob in Belfair is saying, okay, that's pretty minimal. We'll allow a complex like that to just go ahead. Am I understanding that?
You're keeping it as clean as you say, and there's been no red flags. It's probably fine. You're doing a good job, because he would be the first to bring it forward if there was a problem. So thank you.
Oh, okay, good.
I can weigh in from the county's perspective, and in talking with composters, some of the issues that they encounter. I was at a composter earlier this week and he had to buy a $250,000 machine that removes all of the plastic contamination that people put into their yard waste bins. It's a real problem, and honestly, it puts composting at jeopardy if people are putting the wrong things in there. And the labeling on some of these bioplastic items comes from a lab. So they study the compostability in a lab, which is not a real life situation. So there's a push in the industry right now to get better labeling that actually reflects how these items break down in an actual composting facility. When I talk to people about what to put in their food and yard waste bins, food, yard waste, napkins, coffee filters, and paper towels, end of story. However, there are a lot of other things that if you process them at home, like egg cartons, you have to take the lid off because they put that paper label on there that's covered in shiny plastic. If you can remove the lid of your egg carton, you can put the bottom of it in there. That doesn't have any plastic. But tea bags, a lot of tea bags are now made out of plastic, and people can't tell the difference, and the packaging doesn't say. So I don't even tell people to put tea bags in there because I don't always know if they can tell. And on and on and on. Like, you know, they make biodegradable coffee cups now. But again, the label on that is not tested in the field, it's tested in the lab. And if people mix it up, if they put the plastic coffee cup in there, it really hurts the composters. So focus on the quality stuff. It's quality over quantity when it comes to composting, I would say. And Bob's right, he's got a great high quality product and he just doesn't want to jeopardize that, because if he makes a sale to you know, a big buyer and they find a bunch of plastic in there, you know, he might lose a customer. And shredded paper is another thing to watch out for. A lot of paper is covered in plastic, a lot of it. If it's shiny at all, there's a thin layer of plastic and it doesn't break down. So that's my two cents there.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's more than 2 cents worth.
right. It was about $1.50.
Yeah, $1.50.
But I mean, the composter we were talking with on Monday, I mean, it's a continuous battle to make sure people aren't putting plastic in there. And that $250 piece of equipment he had to buy was, you know, he doesn't want to have to buy a second one.
So you talked about how the certifications aren't based on field conditions, but so what I think is neat is that Jeff West, who owns Olympic Organics, he and some others started the Composters Manufacturing Alliance, which does do that, the field testing. And so and they have a lot of products on there now. So if you can go to the Compost Manufacturers Alliance website and they say, what are the acceptable materials? And do you think we could use that as a guide for what like at events, what we would recommend to vendors?
It's up to Bob, I guess. You know, he's the one who has to process it and sell it. So I would maybe run that list by him and see what he feels about it. I know Jeff would, you know, definitely supports those items because he made the label, but I put the link to the CMA in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Susan's got a question in there about, Susan, do you want to ask? Okay.
So this brings, okay, whether signage on our bins like they do in Seattle for the yard waste, for the recycle. Okay, I hear you. Why not, right? I would agree. Why not? I guess as long as it's not changing, I'm not, it does, I'm not sure, does anywhere else in Kitsap County do the signs, Caitlin? For the recycle, is Waste Management putting signs?
Like decals on your carts? Yeah. Yes, they do. the carts across Kitsap County are a whole variety of different colors and different labels because they were phased in at different times. Some of the labels are readable and some of them are quite faded and old. We are going to be evaluating the cost to relabel carts in the coming years, but it's a tough thing to do for the carts that are already out there, because you have to drive around, wash it with alcohol, put the sticker on. For new carts that are going out for the first time, it's easier.
I think that's easy. Yeah, I will open that up. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can connect in the context of contamination reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
So Heather, you showed 2 slides, you showed the recyclables list and the yard waste. So Caitlin, do you know if those are going to be changing anytime soon?
Not the accepted materials on them, but the design definitely. And Christina Duggar is in charge of the organics program. The county's expanding curbside composting to the whole county. So she'll be working on better outreach materials, and we'll definitely connect with Heather about bringing those to Bainbridge.
I gotta say though, you know how they recommend putting pictures on and just like maybe one photo and then, you know, brief description, words, and you guys made that poster 12 years ago or something, and I think it holds up to what they're recommending nowadays. My 2 cents.
When
Maybe
I
it's
set up the ones at Grace, I made a copy of what's online of what's acceptable and not acceptable, and then I taped it down with packing tape. So it's still there. And we could ourselves make labels, I would think, if we had current information that got emailed to the customers. If something changed, we could make our own labels that we could tape onto the top of the bin, maybe.
We do have signs. Caitlin, do they still have the signs, the corrugated signs? I believe we have some signs at Bainbridge Disposal too, if you'd like to post a sign next to it, a nice size recyclable sign.
Yeah, those corrugated plastic signs were designed for multifamily apartments and condos.
Yeah.
They're pretty big.
Yeah. If you'd like one, stop by.
I've become the sign maker on the island a lot. And I have learned to laminate with the thicker plastic laminate, the sign, and then use extra heavy duty carpet tape on the back of a political sign. And that's very durable. And it's reusing a political sign, and it's using new plastic, which I'm bothered by, but what else can I do? And that's how I make a lot of the signs for zero waste. And I've learned to keep it simple. Big, bold words and the symbols that are universal. Don't invent something. Repeat what's already been invented, because it's already in people's minds that landfill is green, recycle is blue, and landfill is black. Don't use orange or yellow or other. I said, it's like when we first started doing this, I said, can you imagine if a stop sign in Paulsbo was purple and then in Silverdale it's orange? It needs to be universal, because then it works in people's brains.
That's a really great point, and that's one of the top recommendations the state has for reducing recycling contamination. And the county just wrote into our county code that they have to be blue, black, and green over the next 6 years. That will be phased in, and that'll be Waste Management doing that in the county.
So
Nora.
a separate kind of question. We are working on some bills and policies, Bainbridge Island Ordinance, as well as bills in Olympia, to try to cut back on plastic pollution. things like banning styrofoam, requiring that if people are going to get things like straws or utensils, single-use things like that, that they have to request it. Anyway, things like that. And I'm just wondering, Heather, if Bainbridge Disposal would consider or has in the past, expressing support for policies like that to city council or to the legislature. And if we find there's a time where that would be helpful, if we could reach out to you and see if you might be willing to do that.
Sure, I'd be interested in listening to it. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nora.
Okay, here's something that's come up before. People have written in and they've wondered, like, can information be posted on the Bainbridge Disposal website that's, like, for example, like if there's some, new change, can it be posted there? Or like, our styrofoam event that we have, could that be, posted up there, and can, up to the minute changes be made?
Oh, definitely. Our website's a little bit old and it needs a little help, but sure, if you have something you want to post on there, definitely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like,
Or
would we ask?
If you need signage for any event, or, we have plenty of customers going through there, and anything you want to post. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can it be in the monthly bill or the quarterly bill?
Sure. In our billing systems, we have on the bottom of the bill, there's a little space to put a little comment. I think it's one liner. It's the space is limited, but we do occasionally put mailers, and I know it's a mailer. We do inserts for our septic tank pumping. So yeah, there's options to add
Right.
letters. We've never really done a newsletter, but I would hope, that's one of my plans, is to put together a newsletter once a year, whether we post it or put it in our mailer.
So, Heather, we like factoids. Don't put plastic bags in the recycle bin. Simple. So if it was a factoid on the bill or a flyer, because I know you have your septic pumping and U-Haul, because that's an income source in your business. But if there's a flyer that says don't put plastic bags in recycling, that would make the commingled recycling not as contaminated, and it would benefit Bainbridge Disposal. Because I think the billing is such a great place to pass on information and clarify.
I agree. Great. Thank you. Yes, good idea.
Or, even just use that one, you say you have one line at the bottom, like maybe in red each month, there could be a different suggestion, different tip, like don't put plastic bags in the recycling, and something each month like that.
Yeah, great. Yes, I will bring that up.
Okay.
Look for it maybe on the next billing. Our billing is quarterly, so we do not reach out to all our customers every month. It's every 3 months that our customers get a bill. So it would take, a really 4 quarters to get the whole cycle. So, but I think it's a great idea. There's space. It just depends what else we have going on, but I'm open to that. Yes.
Okay.
You come up with the message though.
Okay, we'll gladly do that.
Great. Any other questions?
So Susan's got one here. Is there a way that Zero Waste members could help you update? You just said yes. Or does Bainbridge Disposal website? I don't know if you take suggestions for that. I don't know. So there's that question. And oh, well, here's the example. We would love to see plastic bags be more prominently displayed under the unacceptable items column. So yeah, right now it's like 4th or 3rd in line. And when Susan pointed that out to us, we all had to go looking to where did it say that plastic bags could be used. So
okay, plastic bags. Okay, I agree. Okay, I will see what we can do. Great, thank you. Plastic bags. Making notes here on the side.
So, and then Barbara's got an addendum to that. She said, if you tell people not to put plastic bags in recycling, can you specify that you mean curbside recycling? Well, I guess it'd also be your drop boxes at the transfer station, and then tell them where they can be recycled. So the grocery stores that take them. I think it's so great that you have a trash toter right next to your mixed recyclables drop box, because I see so many people putting their, they bring their recyclables in plastic bags, but then they do what they're supposed to and put their plastic bag in that toter, so they don't put it in your mixed recycling.
That's been helpful, and that has been one of our goals, is to keep especially the drop off with the customers that go to the transfer station, to keep that product clean, the self haulers. And it's so hard. You would be the horrible person all day long if you had to start telling people or asking them to do that. Some people are really receptive to it, and some are really offended by it. So it's just what type of day it is, but it has helped to have the garbage there. It helps when we have the items on the little posts there. And I think visuals are what's really needed at the recycle center, right where they drop it off, because it's so nice when you can see something familiar and like, yeah, right. But to read a lot of signs, that's where people won't spend the time.
Yeah. I know one thing Dawn Snyder would be bringing up, but she doesn't have internet right now. Her power's down. It's always been her wish, but it's a wish, to have like a, big, maybe 40-yarder, enclosed 40-yarder at the transfer station where people could put their styrofoam, because, we only have collections twice a year. I mean, there are a lot of things to, think through on that, because people would put in, anything besides styrofoam too. But, you said you were open to other materials being collected up at that. So this is just putting a bug in your ear that, that's been brought up. I have no idea what the logistics would be for when that fills up and getting in, if we're not able to collection, how, what we do with it. Well, I sort of do.
Diane, where does the styrofoam go? I guess the question would be, where do you haul the styrofoam? And is it only once a year that where you're taking it? Do they take it year round? I'm not familiar where the styrofoam goes.
Well, Styro Recycle in Kent operates year round.
Okay.
They're open Monday through Friday. And that's where it always used to go up until this last collection. Howard Block of Bay Hay would put a load in his truck when he was going down to that area for business, drop off his load at Styro Recycle, collect a bunch of used bags so we could use them again. And then, so it would take him about 10 trips down there in between our semi-yearly collections to get rid of everything. But this last collection, we had Jay Hildebrand of Safeway speak last January to us. And at the end of his presentation, he offered to give us his truck to put all our styrofoam bags in. So this past collection, Safeway took it, and they have a densifier which chops it up and melts it down into 40-pound blocks. They have a densifier at their facility in Auburn, their recovery asset center. So he did that, and he'll be doing that again when we have our next collection. So I mean, it could possibly be possible that if there were a collection at the transfer station, something that keeps the material dry, that we could then bag it up and take it down to the Safeway store and put it in one of their empty trucks. That might be a possibility there. But
yeah, let's talk about it. That's interesting. I just, it seems like I'm not sure the volume of it, the size of the container. But if it was something that happened quarterly or something of that nature, that would be realistic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing more about that.
I want to give a plug to this. I'm really enthusiastic about this idea of having a styro bin at the transfer station. I think it would fill up very quickly. If you put out information to people, many people are concerned about styro going into landfill. And I've been in touch with someone in North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they finally, with a grant, bought a densifier so that they could melt it down. And they did it once a week, people coming in, putting it into a big bin. And now it's twice a week, and they're going to have to go to three times a week. There's just been an overwhelming amount of support for this. And Bainbridge isn't anywhere near the size of a city like Greensboro, but I still think if you could see what we collect at the Bay Hay and Feed collection twice a year, you would just be amazed. And anyway, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, interesting. I'm going to look up densifier, see what's involved, because I don't know about a densifier.
I'll send you the information from Greensboro, North Carolina. Again, I think that Bainbridge is too small. The population just isn't here. Someplace on Kitsap, maybe Paulsbo or Bremerton would be. Anyway, it's just incredibly impressive what they're doing there. And it's probably happening, these kinds of initiatives are probably happening across the country, and we just don't know about them. I happen to have a connection in North Carolina.
The thing that makes it more feasible in North Carolina is that, oh, there's me and there's
Oh, who did that?
who took over the screen? Yeah, isn't that incredible? All that, yeah. Is out on the East Coast, that's where they have more of the styrofoam producing manufacturers. So like Allison's brother who helps with that densifier project, they don't have to go many miles to sell their heavy ingots of plastic that they melt. Out here, it's tougher. Like the closest is going to Styrorecycle, but they are an intermediary still before getting it to whomever buys it from them. But maybe Caitlin, do you want to speak to the Silverdale RAGF?
Yeah, we are still hoping to install a densifier at the Silverdale Recycling and Garbage Facility. We had to kind of rethink our plans for our redevelopment due to some easement issues. So if we have the space, we will install it. We hope.
Also,
And Diane sent that link to that grant. So we'll definitely consider that. But I do want to mention that the state, the legislature has proposed a bill that includes a styrofoam ban. I put a link to that in the chat as well.
It does, but if you read it, to me, it sounds like they're not prohibiting styrofoam packaging, the block packaging, only like coolers and the food takeout stuff. And
yeah, it'd be pretty hard to regulate packaging that's being shipped from other places.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely would still be a need for a densifier, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and it would allow medical packaging too, medical coolers. Yeah.
The interesting thing though with that grant is that if there is a styrofoam ban, they won't give you the grant.
Yeah.
Go now.
I know.
Yeah. David has a question about how glass little shards can wreck the machines at the MRF and get in the paper and all that. So he's asking if you've considered having a separate small tub for glass only, which is what it used to be in the 3-bin system.
Yes, it would. One container for the glass would involve a complete separate truck on the route. The trucks are mostly automated now, so the driver would not be able to hop out and throw it onto. There's no space. There would be nowhere to put just the glass. Really, we haven't, because logistically, I'm not sure how it will work. We have up at the transfer station. That was one of my considerations. You keep the glass separate, completely separate, and people had the option to take it there separately. But again, we're getting limited on space up there, so it's really to add in one for separate glass is I'm not sure where it would go right now.
And also, wouldn't it just end up at the MRF anyway, like it does now?
Unless you could find another market for it, unless someone had another place for it to go. Yes.
Well, that's sort of one thing that's nice about here. Well, in Seattle, there's Strategic Glass, I think they're called. And so, we do glass is a heavy material to transport. And so we're lucky that there is a local buyer for glass. But I mean, you guys wouldn't take the ferry across to drop it off there.
Probably not, no.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good question. Any other questions?
Caitlin has one. What is PME Port Gamble?
Sorry, I meant to send that to Heather, not you. My bad.
Oh, okay.
For Madison Enterprises, yeah.
Okay, so you have contracts with them and
Port Gamble, we pick up Gamble Tribe, we pick up their recycle, their yard waste, and we do an annual cleanup. They do a very large annual cleanup out of there,
Gotcha.
yeah. And Suquamish as well.
What is the annual thing they do?
Annual cleanup, just cleaning up their community. It's substantial. So,
Okay.
great.
Any other questions?
Everything.
No? All right. Well, Heather, thank you very, very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being
Nice to
so
see you.
open to our ideas.
Yes,
Love it.
I'm open to your ideas, and I have great notes, so we'll follow up.
Okay, sounds
Thanks,
good.
Diane. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Are you on to your general meeting?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, I'm going to leave.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna head out too. I will let you guys know if there's a political sign recycling option. I emailed the MRF on that. And Christina worked in recycling in Louisiana, and she ran a political sign recycling thing down there. So
Oh, neat.
think about bringing her skills here.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Everyone can stay on if they want to. Don't everyone leave. Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like we have some work to do now. So we're like writing ideas up for those one-line tags on the bills. And oh, Carolyn is suggesting I stop the recording button. I will. Thank you.